and welcome to the Artist Behind the Music Canadian edition. Today we have oh-Stella with us from Edmonton. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Crystal. How are you?
I'm great. It's always lovely to speak to another pink-haired friend. But you're not just from Edmonton. You come from a little bit further. Do you want to tell everybody where you're from and what brought you over to Canada?
Yeah, I'm from Dublin, Ireland originally, and I've been in Canada for 13 years. And I initially came over to visit a family member of mine that's like a little sister to me. And along the way, I met a boy who was a musician, and that started a very long situation thing, and eventually moved to Canada for him. And eventually it didn't work, but I'm still here, so still standing.
She's a survivor.
Oh yeah.
And now a Canadian. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm so curious, what got you into music and what was your journey on becoming, a professional recording artist? What brought you into that realm?
I have been singing as long as I can remember, as long as any other family members can remember. And it's all I ever desperately wanted to do, even in Ireland. But it's really intimidating getting into music in Ireland. Everybody does it, and everyone's incredibly good. And I didn't play an instrument growing up outside of a recorder. And I remember trying to start bands and things, and I was flung into a band essentially voluntold by some friends when I was a teenager. But beyond that, like once I got to university level, wanting to start something professionally, I felt like such a heel and I didn't fit in. But I stumbled across an ad in my favorite cafe. They were looking for a co-singer. This Dutch guy who had just moved over from Holland was signed to a record label. And so I picked up my first professional band as like a lead singer performer type, and I cut my teeth on that, opening for Jonas Policewoman around Ireland when I was in my early 20s. And along the way I met this musician guy, and that brought me over to Canada. And I've tried to not do music at different times in my life, and it's been the most down in the dumps period of times of my life. I just can't not do it. So I'd rather I'd rather be doing it than not. So that's me. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Cool story. It's neat to speak with different heritages and cultures, and just the music industry in Ireland just sounds so much different than, other places. I feel like is it more like hobby joyful music creation, or is everybody like doing music as professions?
There's a huge professional industry. Everybody does it as a hobby anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a given almost. It ups the standard a huge amount, and it's a very DIY um kind of culture. Like you start the band before you know your instrument in a lot of cases, and that was the case for me as well, and all my friends. But as a result, the bands and the music coming out of Ireland are always just second to none. I think they're fantastic, and there's some amazing musicians coming out of it now. And I have an amazing opportunity at the moment. Calistan, that did the imagining of my song Fire back in September, he and I have been collaborating on a podcast style Instagram live every Sunday since September, where we talk about um, themes that came up in the process of reimagining Fire, like imperfections. And the song itself became a declaration of imperfection. And so every Sunday we go down the rabbit hole exploring what that really means. So we've had an amazing opportunity to invite on, because Khalistan just recently came out as a trans man, we've been focusing on spotlighting trans and Indigenous and queer artists at the top of our hour. So we have like an artist segment. And then we'll bring on guests to talk about deeper subjects. And Khalistan and I have been independently involved with Girls Rock Camp, he in Dublin and me in Calgary, actually, for the last number of years. So and I'm looking to set up an Edmonton-based one. So we've had amazing opportunities to talk to different people in the communities about that. And we're doing a Christmas fundraiser at the moment because I can't get home for Christmas. One of my favorite um, like traditions of going home outside of seeing family and friends is the Christmas Eve busk that happens on our main shopping street, Grafton Street, every Christmas Eve. And it was started by Glenn Hansard from The Frames. He did the soundtrack for Once, the film. And so every Christmas Eve, he would start busking, and whatever musician happened to be home in Ireland that year would come and join him. And so you'd have everyone from the likes of Van Morrison, Damien Rice, Imelda May, Hosier, um, anyone else. Bono has showed up whatever years he's home and stuff. And people just stand together in the street and just sing Christmas songs, and then they raise money for charity and stuff for the Dublin homeless. And so Callison and I got talking about that, how so many people, Irish musicians in particular, aren't going to be able to get home for Christmas this year. So we decided we would take inspiration from that and build our own as an opportunity to kind of uh, unify like Irish and Canadian artists, and at
Cool.
least provide like some kind of outlet and opportunity for everyone to build a few more friendships across the Atlantic, so that when touring starts up again, we actually have friends that we can call on in the different countries and stuff and go out and support each other's shows. And while we're at it, we're going to be raising money for Boyle Street Community Services in Edmonton that does a lot of helping with the homeless, and also Inner City Helping Homeless based in Dublin. They go out on the streets every single night handing out clothes and jackets and stuff to the homeless. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 20th of December. And everyone involved, we've got like amazing artists involved both in Ireland and Canada. And everyone's just going to do one Christmas song, like a songwriter in the round situation. And yeah, it'll be great.
Well, that's fun. Well, I love what you're talking about with your platform, just getting into real conversational pieces, like the human, real, raw emotions that often we don't talk about. So I think it's so important to share these messages of, whatever it is that we're going through, good or bad. I think it's so important to have your voice be heard and to have people's stories be shared.
I think so, yeah. And we had a fantastic episode today where a friend of mine who is a musician, I didn't realize she'd been homeless for a period of time when she was growing up. So she came on the show today to talk all about that experience. And I think it became a very poignant and important subject, the whole idea around perceptions of perfection and imperfection in the middle of lockdown, because everyone is spending so much time on social media and having a crap time of it at home, and the four walls are closing in around you, and all you're doing is scrolling through this fictitious feed that's put up, making everyone else's life look amazing, and you're just going further down your own rabbit hole. I just think it's really important to um, shine the light on the very well cast shadows, or like, and show that, like, yeah, I mean, everyone's going through it, and you're not alone in what you're going through, and like you say, we'll get through it together. So it's better that we talk about it.
It is. It is so much better that we talk about it because it's way too easy to keep things inside. And, I was having a conversation earlier just about how music is an outlet for songwriters to explore their sad or hardship emotions. But not everybody has that outlet. Not everybody has a creative outlet where they can, share and be vulnerable without feeling judged or any of those expectations, those external things that come with sharing. Um, so just reminding people that reach out to people, call a friend, call anyone, talk about what you're feeling, I think is just a super important message to stress right now because there's a lot of feelings going on. And I think even, for myself, I function with stress all the time. So I get really used to just having anxiety or just having that stress. Like I don't call it anxiety, like I can't function, but I'm a functioning stressed out person.
Yeah,
But
totally.
sometimes you don't even realize when that stress builds up until you get sick or you burn out or you snap, all those crazy things. And I just think it's so important to slow down and talk about it.
It totally is. And as well, the current kind of stress everyone's going through is so slow moving and insidious that you don't notice it's taking a toll on yourself. And even if you're lucky enough that you or somebody in your household um, is still able to work because they're working from home or they're an essential service or something, the environment has completely changed, you know, and as much as you can keep up an inverted commas like regular life, it still seeps in and there's no avoiding it. So it's, yeah, just very important to look after your mental health, really.
Yeah, you named it very clear there. It's just, even though things might be somewhat normal or routine in your life, there's still this ominous presence of of chaos surrounding us. So it's a pretty crazy time. What are some tools that you use to push through the down days or the stress or the anything that kind of deters you from your highest self?
Oh God. I think remembering to take a day off, allowing myself to take a day off is okay. I think especially in this career where there's nobody really to answer to except that ever moving bar that you have to overcome, you know. It's very easy to get down on yourself and be like, I haven't done enough today. And then also keeping myself accountable. I have a friend, a family member actually, that I just touch in with every day. And I was working through the artist way again for like the third time.
I
I
love
just started that in January. It's so good, isn't it?
it. It's so good.
And I restarted it in January or February. Um, and that was really good just for a bit of self love, self care, checking in with myself and re-establishing routines that I had lost honestly last year because it was hectic and I was touring and that kind of thing.
Mm.
So that was really good to get going again. And mercifully, I actually ended up signing up to a, um, a music course to learn how to write music for sync back in February as well. And it was a 6 month long course. So that kept me really focused on uh, trying to write new music and stuff for the first 6 months of lockdown. And now it's a different kettle of fish altogether.
I know, it's insane, but you released your remix Fire
Mhm.
September 25th, and it's a great song. I love it, and I love the video for it too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Colors are great.
Calistan, yeah, did a fantastic job on the production, and yeah, it was just totally by coincidence because the original song is featured on a limited edition pink vinyl. It's very soft pink, so I figured for a remix we should go like hard, big, bright pink, and then the lettering that ended up going with it turned out to be kind of blue teal, which inadvertently is the colors on the flag for the trans group. So it just turned into a bit of a trans fly the flag situation anyway, which was gorgeous. And yeah, so all the pinks came through and the hair followed suit and all that. But I was delighted because like I'll hand it to COVID for making me lock myself away, because that music video I actually ended up having to make myself in my stairwell. So it was a great project in how to do things on a shoestring.
That's cool. So you did it yourself.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you know how to edit video or film video prior to that? Or was this something that you just said, I want to make a video and I'm going to figure out how?
No, thankfully I'd been like messing around with it for the last 6 months. I'd been meaning to get to it, as you know the way.
Oh, I
So
know.
many things, right? Just that to-do list for years, and I hadn't gotten to it. And I'm very easily intimidated with tech, and because of the artist's way, in fact. I ended up making this like mini series right in the depths of lockdown, like around May time. I decided I was just going to say, you know what, screw it and throw it to the wind and not care what other people think of me. And so I made four little mini episodes of a zero waste, uh, COVID friendly travel vlog series. So what I did was I dressed up different corners of my house like different travel destinations and acted like a travel show presenter and talked about all the amenities in these different places. And it was just the biggest ridiculous farce.
That's good
It's
though.
so much
Forced
fun.
to do things that, are a little uncomfortable maybe to do, but are fun and light you up and keep you
Totally. And and it just feels like really, really, really vulnerable in a whole different way to songwriting, to put such a geeky, nerdy, dorky side of yourself out to the public that you don't normally show off. But it was fun to do. So it was
and
grand.
where can we watch this?
You can find it in my IGTV section. And I think it's also on my YouTube as well. So
Nice. Okay, well,
uh,
I'm gonna definitely check it out. On a little trip around your home.
perfect.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, I would love to hear you play if you're ready to rock.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to. So this first song is called Linen, and it was inspired by one of the last remaining residents of the Magdalen laundries in Ireland. And the last of those closed within a year of the last Canadian residential school. And they have a lot of very sad history in common with each other. So this was written as a love song for that woman who was taken from her best friend at a very tender age. So this is Linen. Wish I had my sister's strength to wade deep blue innocence of all the saints, but you came to me like a tidal wave. My flowing hair was heaven to behold, taken for the sins that never would unfold, a secret hidden from a light of day. You got me, you got me, you got me, you got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. You got me hanging on. Please, I'm good as I can be. All these years I should have got a name for me, but I'll keep dreaming till I fade away. You got me, you got me, you got me, you got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. You got me hanging on. I told you come around when it was safe, but your love is careless now and I'm afraid we can't take this back. We can't take this back. My head is filled with thoughts of me and you, leaving kisses stolen around the back at noon. We can't take this back. We can't take this back. I pressed your linens now and gone to bed. Salvation in my head, gone between my legs. We can't take this back. We can't take this back. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. You got me hanging on.
I love the abrupt ending.
Right?
To keep dancing. Great song.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of passion behind your voice.
I do.
Yeah, you can hear like you're not just singing, you're sending a story, a message in your music. And I heard that in your video and your song Fire too. It's just there's passion behind your words, which is beautiful to hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That really means a lot. And speaking of, this next song is called Fire. This is
segue.
Right. This song very much is the concise way of saying it is it's a declaration of imperfection, but I'd been meaning to go solo for many, many years and never did, and eventually got called out by a couple of people in my circle when my last band that was based down in Calgary broke up. And this is a bit of a meditation on the situation of being solo that I put myself in, probably on purpose, but subconsciously on purpose, and a bit of a, well, you've made your bed now, you better suck it up and get on with it. So here we go. This is Fire. I'm on the outside, oh hell, I never could break in, but I'll make you work out so well. I feel him slipping in and now I'm starry-eyed, but oh well, I'm standing all alone, so come prop me up, never tell, 'cause I'll do this on my own, and I will make it beautiful. I will make it beautiful. The night's been drinking your sidewind, your secret way in. I never saw you coming. I'm getting critical. Say you want me and it's falling all down, it's falling all down. Ooh. Fire. Yeah, I was the one to start fire. The burning of my own heart. Never ever wanted nothing. If it wasn't something only I could start fire. Yeah, I was the one to start fire. Yeah, I was the one to start fire. Burning up my own heart. Never ever wanted nothing.
to hear that stripped down version. I love hearing just a song in different forms, like the regular song, the remix song, the acoustic stripped down song. It's just so cool to hear the different forms that a song can take, right?
Totally. Yeah. No, so
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's great though. Great song, great message behind it. I think yeah, I just think everything you're doing is has such a nice output to the world. It's so good to, get deep and do some good stuff and, create these musical opportunities to bring people together outside in the world, especially during the holidays. It's a great, great thing that you're doing. So thank you for being you and sharing your joy with the world.
Oh man, thanks very much, Crystal.
Yeah, it's been so great chatting with you. I just always love to wrap these sessions up with the question, if you had one message to share with the world, what would it be?
Oh, um, don't forget that everyone is born with a problem and a talent, and your job is to go find the person with the problem that matches your talent, and you'll find the person with the talent to match your problem. So keep giving and keep being open to receiving.
I love that. I've never heard that before. That was a good, good message. I like that a lot because we all need help, right?
Totally.
And when we are just okay with asking for help, all of a sudden we start rising.
Yep.
So that's very cool. I really like that.
Thank you.
Hey, problem and a talent. Go find your problem finder. Is
Totally.
that
Yeah.
what we're looking for?
The
The
problem
solution.
finder. Yeah. Yeah.
The solution to
Yeah.
your problem.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have to put a shout out to like 6-year-old Liz for that. I don't know. I was sitting in the back of my mom's car one day when I was a kid, and I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, someone has a problem to match my talent and vice versa, la la la. And
Really?
yeah, yeah, which is bizarre. And I've always been leaning away from the Catholic Church because I was raised in it for 14 years and intrigued by paganism and similarly so
Yeah.
by indigenous spirituality as well when I come over to Canada. And some indigenous beliefs share that same thing. And I heard somewhere that they believe that's why babies get born with their fists shut. That, like, I guess metaphorically or spiritually, in one hand they're holding a talent, in one hand they're holding a problem. I might be butchering this, but that's my impression,
Interpretation, yeah.
interpretation. Yeah, and that's their belief, is that, I don't know, I guess maybe when their hands open it frees out into the world, and that's the purpose of your life, is to go find it again. And I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that you came up with that as such a young person and then rediscovered that in just your findings.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but happy about it. Feels good.
That's really cool. See, you're finding your solution.
Totally. And it's funny because I was in a co-writing situation there a few weeks ago, and we were talking about something similar, and that same thing came up. And it's very easy to romanticize that prospect or that notion with the idea of just being like wandering the world and finding this gorgeous person that you probably fall in love with and they complete you. But as you know, like, oftentimes the person that irks you the most is reflecting most of you back at yourself. So it's actually always the person that you least want to be paired with that you have the most to learn from. So it
That is
sounds very
so
romantic, but
That is so true though. It's so I catch myself when somebody's annoying me. I ask myself, what is it that is annoying about the situation? And I often come back to, oh, it's because I wish I could be like that more, or like I wish I found that freedom, or I wish, it's like often something that we're holding back in our own lives that annoys
exactly.
us about something that's happening out there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to take note on those things. Check in, what annoys you?
Totally.
Make a little journal.
Mhm.
Oh, cool. Well, I could just keep chatting with you. You've got so many interesting stories and love your music, love what you're doing. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
so.
being on the artist behind the music. And we'll post the links on where they can find your music video and your little touring show in your home.
Oh, right. Sure.
Circle back. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.